Suffering is actually unconditional love. Whew. This one's tough, but bear with me. All of the suffering that you see in this planet is unconditional love. All the animals that are being abused, the destruction of our natural habitat, the abuse of children, people starving, people not being homeless, people having ailments and they don't have means to get to a doctor or something like that. This is all unconditional love. Whew. Like I said, this is a tough one. So let's just go ahead and get into it and I'll explain. The first thing that we have to establish is that everything is made of unconditional love. You are made of unconditional love at a very deep level. Why? Well, everything is made of unconditional love at a deep level. Absolutely everything. So I'm sure you've heard the sentence, I am source. That sentence explains that you are the creator. You are the consciousness or a version of the consciousness that created all that exists. Every planet, every star, every black hole and nebula, every dimension. Absolutely everything. All the ascended masters and the angels. You created it all. And of course, I can also say the sentence, I am source, because I am also the creator. I am the creator just like you are, and we intentionally forgot that we are the creator so that we could have this experience. So that we could come here and experience this world as we created it. So that we could have suffering and struggle, and so we could have success and thriving and love. We could have gratitude and excitement, so that we could have anger and frustration, so that we could have fear and shame and guilt, so that we could have delicious food and we can starve, so that we could have all of the possible experiences that are available to us. Why would we ever want that? Well, let's first say that we as source are unconditional love, and everything that we create is something that we unconditionally love. And when I say that we create it, I actually mean that we become it. So nothing exists unless it is us as source. So everything that exists, even this leaf here on the ground, this is not just unconditional love, but it is us as source. You are this leaf that I'm holding right now, and I am also this leaf, and this camera, and this forest, and the state of Florida, which I'm in right now. This is all unconditional love. And that means that all experiences are also unconditional love. Okay. So why, if we are unconditional love and we created everything, why didn't we just create an unconditional love feeling or an unconditional love experience? That's because that's what we experience all the time, constantly, in the infinite now. When we think back to ourselves before we incarnated here, this can be difficult for some and very easy for others. So just allow yourself the possibility that you could experience this. Think back to before you were born. Think back to being the creator. You have infinite ability to do whatever it is that you want. You can create absolutely everything. In other words, you can become absolutely anything. What kind of things would you become? What kind of things would you create? You would try out all kinds of stuff. There would be no limit to what you would try. You would experience and experiment all kinds of different things. But in order to actually experience it yourself and to take it seriously, you have to forget that you are the creator and give yourself limitation. Through that limitation of being born and going, oh no, how am I going to get food? How am I going to get water? Where's my parents? What happened? How do I do this? How do I survive this? You actually get to experience all those things. You get to experience that worry or that fear. You get to experience the love from your mother. You get to experience all these different things, both positive and negative. And to us as Source, the Creator, those things are impossible for us to experience when we are in our infinite consciousness. If you're in infinite consciousness, then you don't have fear because you can't die. You are infinite. You don't have worry about anything because you can just make anything come to pass. So in order for you to experience both thriving and suffering, you have to forget this truth. And you have to believe that you can die. And you have to believe that things can go wrong. You have to believe that you can't just snap your fingers and change it. And you are unconditionally loving yourself so that you can have all those experiences. You've created them all. Now you want to experience them. Well, why do you want to? You want to because it's available to you. And when you're in that infinite consciousness state, you can't experience those things. So you intentionally forget, like I said, so that you can take it seriously, take this life seriously. Well, all of this is an unconditional love expression. I unconditionally love what I've created, and I unconditionally love all the possible experiences. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself all of these experiences unconditionally, lovingly. Even though during it you're like, what the heck is this? This is terrible. This is the worst possible thing that could ever happen to me. I'm going to jail. I'm getting sick and I have a chronic disease. I have negative entity attachments. I have whatever the problems are. I have childhood abuse and I have PTSD. I have it just goes on and on. All these terrible things that we can experience. And we can't possibly imagine when we're in the height, the worst of those experiences and say, well, this is me unconditionally loving myself. It's the furthest thing from your mind because you've done such a good job of forgetting that you're the infinite creator. So let's bring the infinite creator to our experience as it is right now. I did it. I am suffering and I get to feel what this suffering feels like because I, as Source, created it and I love myself unconditionally. And so that is the quickest possible summary I could come up with to help you understand that suffering is unconditional love. That abuse is unconditional love, that starvation is unconditional love, that the destruction of the planet is unconditional love. We think that one of the reasons that we're here is to help people, is to help the planet, is to make it better. Well, does that invalidate that? Oh, well, everything's supposed to happen like this because I set it up, so I guess I should stop trying to make it not happen. I guess I should just go ahead and let it all happen, everybody. F you, good luck. No. If you feel motivated, if you feel excited, if you feel enthusiastic about helping the world or helping your neighbor or helping a family member or helping anyone, then you should do that because guess what? That is a valid Source experience. You wanted to see what it would feel like to actually help people, with whatever their problems might be or whatever their suffering was. And then you would receive potentially the gratitude from that individual who you've helped, or the self-satisfaction for having circumnavigated someone else's suffering. Totally valid. It's also totally valid to say, good luck. I got other things to do. I've got to do this, this, and this, so I'm sorry. I can't help you right now. That is also a valid Source experience that you and the person that you're not helping, you both signed up for as Source. So really what I want to do with all this is help you by saying you're off the hook. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to. You get to choose. And you get to choose how much you suffer. Suffering is simply you deciding that you don't like it. What if you were experiencing a negative experience and decided that you enjoyed the negative experience? What if you just chose to say, I love this pain. I love this suffering. I love the feeling of guilt. I love the feeling of fear. This happens all the time. It is very possible. The perfect example that I can think of is there's a sexual experience that some people enjoy pain during their sexual experience, physical pain, something being squeezed or something being injured, bruised, and so on. Well, that is pain. That is something that we normally do not want, but we've decided that we do enjoy that. That we could look at that in a positive way. If we can do that, then we can look at anything in a positive way. And certainly we can look at it in a positive way because we know that our suffering always results in something better. Always there's a growth experience. There's an expansion experience. There's a mind-opening experience. There's so many different positive experiences from suffering that we can actually go, oh, I'm suffering right now. Good. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it's going to bring me, but I know that it's going to bring me something good. Anytime something bad happens, something good always replaces it. Anytime you lose something that you really like, you're being cleared for the possibility of this new thing that comes in and replaces it that you like even more. When I was going to get to rent a house while I was still living in Chicago and working in the video game industry, there was a house that was on the Fox River. It's one of the rivers that goes through the suburbs of Chicago. I was super excited about renting this property while I was going to finish off my video game career for the last year or two. Well, it was a very popular place, and it was scooped up before I could even go look at it. And I remember telling a friend of mine, saying like, oh man, I really wanted to go to that place. And he immediately just said, well, you weren't supposed to get that. You're supposed to get something better. As soon as he said that, I went, oh, you're totally right. I probably am supposed to get something better. And actually, what I ended up doing was looking to see if there were any properties on the river that were for sale that I could afford, which I didn't think would be possible in the Chicago suburbs because I didn't have that much money at the time to do that. But sure enough, I found an incredible property, very inexpensive, that I was able to purchase and live in for a couple of years, do a little fix-up, and sell it for 50% more than what I bought it for. So thank goodness I didn't rent a property in that case on the river. I bought one. But if I had decided that that was going to be the end of it, that I missed out, that, oh, woe is me, no more possibility for living on the river, and I would have given up and I wouldn't have had that experience. So thank goodness somebody said that to me so that I could open myself up to that possibility. So that's your responsibility. If you want to stop suffering, if you want amazing things to happen to you, then all you've got to do is know that everything happens to lead you to a more amazing life experience. And when you do that, then you open yourself up to the possibility. Because had I not looked for the property, I wouldn't have found it, and I would have ended up in a crappy little apartment, and I would have had no money at the end of it because I would have given it all to the renter or to the landlord. So, suffering is unconditional love. I suffered as a result of not getting that apartment. And then I ended up having this incredible experience happen. It was all unconditional love. It's not always like that. There's so many different experiences that we have, but they are all unconditional love. Thank you so much for watching. I love you unconditionally because I am Source, just like you are. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.